Most people target age 65 for retirement, considering it the standard milestone after decades in the workforce. However, after 20 plus years as a financial advisor, I've witnessed a critical factor that frequently undermines carefully constructed retirement plans, and fully understanding it might change when you decide to exit the workforce. The key issue isn't longevity itself, but instead it's your healthy life expectancy, the years when you're mobile, in good health, and retired from work. The years when you can fully enjoy retirement without the onset of significant medical issues. If you look in the comments of my Social Security videos, you'll see hundreds of examples of people whose neighbor, friend, cousin, brother, or sister finally retired and then their life was cut short from an illness. Many retirees assume they'll enjoy decades of active retirement, but global health data tells a different story. So where do we stand? Well, the World Health Organization tracks something called healthy life expectancy across different countries. It examines how many years of healthy mobile living that we have. That's obviously different from traditional life expectancy that doesn't factor that in. Recently, I stumbled on a few videos and blog articles shedding light on this data, but there's a big problem with how the data is being presented. Good thing I'm here to break it down and show you what I believe is missing. I'll provide a link to the data in the notes below. Really, there are two ways to look at this data: average healthy life expectancy at birth and average healthy life expectancy if you make it to age 60. Most of the videos that I see on the topic are using the life expectancy data based on birth. But guess what? If you're watching this video and you watch this channel, the #1 personal finance channel on YouTube, then you're probably interested in planning for retirement beyond 60. There is a significant difference between life expectancy at birth and life expectancy at age 60, and even more so for healthy life expectancy. So why is that? Well, there are numerous early onset chronic diseases like diabetes, cancer, and heart disease that unfortunately take too many lives in childhood and during midlife. Plus, each year, many people unfortunately pass away from car accidents and other injuries. American soldiers die in wars, and a growing number of Americans die from fentanyl overdoses before reaching 60. This can significantly skew the statistics. Those that do make it to age 60 generally have better access to medical care, often live at least somewhat healthier lifestyles, and typically have genetics in their favor. Since this is a channel focused on wealth management and retirement planning, I'm going to look at the healthy life expectancy for people who make it to age 60. And for retirement planning purposes, I think that you should also. All right, let's first have a look at the healthiest countries in the world and on average what their healthy life expectancy is if you make it to age 60. No surprise, Japan leads the way with a healthy life expectancy of 80.4 years, followed by Singapore, 80.3 years, and South Korea, 79.6 years. Australia and Iceland are both 79.1 years. Other nations like Switzerland at 79 years and Spain at 78.9 years follow closely behind. What about the United States? Well, unsurprisingly, we rank significantly lower with a healthy life expectancy of just 75.7, meaning the average American gets about a decade of a good retirement if they retire at age 65 before significant medical impairments often make it tough to do the things that you love. Remember, these are healthy life expectancies for both men and women who make it to age 60. The numbers are much lower when you look at healthy life expectancy from birth. In the United States, the healthy life expectancy at birth average for men and women is just 63.9. Shut the front door. That is crazy. The richest country in the world, who spends the most per capita on healthcare, has a healthy life expectancy at birth that is less than the average retirement age. But here is the key for retirement planning, and where I believe these other videos and blog posts have it wrong. If you make it to age 60, you should plan on a healthy retirement that's almost 12 years longer than at birth. and another 10 years on average of a less mobile and less healthy retirement up to age 82. That is a big difference for retirement planning. And remember, that is average. Many of you watching this will live much longer than that. So what do we do with this data and how does it impact retirement planning? Well, let's have a look at actual retirement patterns in the United States. Gallup data from 2016 to 2022 shows that 1% of Americans retire between ages 40 and 44. Congrats to you. 2% retire between 45 and 49, 6% retire between 50 and 54, 11% retire between 55 and 59, which interestingly is down nearly 20% from 2007. 32% of us retire between 60 and 64, but that is down from 41% previously. And perhaps most striking, nearly 1/3 of Americans aged 65 to 69 continue working, as do 12% of those 75 and older. Wow! Hopefully these people love their jobs, and I know some of them, and they truly love coming to work each day, but many others are miserable. So we are now retiring even later and experiencing health declines sooner. That is creating a narrowing window of healthy retirement years. So what should we do now? This data doesn't mean run out and retire right now, spend all your money, and then have nothing when all your healthcare costs start to accelerate. I am constantly addressing balance on this channel. Balance in our health, balance in our wealth, plan for now and for later. I want my clients to maximize their first 10 years of retirement while also planning for increased medical costs later in life. Here are 4 items that you can address right now. No matter your age, prioritize your health. Even the most sophisticated financial strategies become meaningless if health problems prevent you from enjoying retirement. The best time to be healthier is yesterday, and the second best time is today. Whatever your opinions are of RFK Jr., his recent confirmation as Health and Human Services Secretary is bringing to the forefront a discussion and a review of data on all kinds of personal health decisions. He's asking questions far too many of us have been afraid to ask. Are we poisoning ourselves with synthetic food dyes? Are cheaper seed oils a significant contributor to obesity? Why do we allow certain additives in the US that Europe and Canada outlawed years ago? I don't know what comes of RFK Jr.'s Make America Healthy Again quest. It may have the same fate as Michelle Obama's quest to change our diets. But continuing to actively discuss nutrition and medicine, it can't be a bad thing. Here's what you can do. 3 basic things. Invest in quality nutrition. Avoid processed foods in favor of home-cooked, nutritious meals. I know, giving up Fruit Loops, Cinnabon, and French fries might be tough, but it can significantly reduce your chances of disease. And make sure you exercise regularly. Incorporate cardiovascular activity for heart health. The older that we get, the more sedentary we get. Sports like pickleball and tennis have shown to keep our mind and our bodies active. And reduce alcohol consumption. Stop smoking and don't do drugs. Sounds simple enough. Number 2, develop a financial strategy for an earlier retirement. Challenge yourself to consider what retiring in your late 50s or early 60s would actually require. Many dismiss early retirement as impossible, but with disciplined planning, it's more achievable than many people believe. The foundation is straightforward. Spend less than you earn. That's the most important step. Unfortunately, many people won't do it. We feel like we deserve that spacious home, that new Ford Bronco, the private school tuition, and the annual vacations. Save consistently. Over 50% of Americans earning $100,000 or more save nothing. Don't follow that pattern. Work towards saving 18% of your after-tax take-home pay. If you aren't saving anything now, start with 1% and move up every 6 months until you get to the 18% number. If you are saving 18% of your take-home pay, then you can spend excess earnings on that bigger home, a nicer car, and luxurious vacation. If you aren't saving first, don't be spending on things you can't afford just because society tells you that you should. Number 3, seek professional investment and planning guidance. Incorporate the healthy retirement data into your retirement planning. When I first started in this business, I was taught that we should plan for retirement expenses that increased with inflation every single year. Well, guess what? That isn't true. Actually, retirement spending decreases through retirement, but it isn't linear. Plan for higher expenses, doing the things you didn't have time to do while working in the first 10 years of your retirement. Then I would plan for expenses to significantly drop. Why? Because you've already done those bucket list items. Retirees then often end up doing things much less physical that cost far less. When putting together a retirement plan, I often refer to what I like to call the retirement red zone, the 5 years before you retire and the 5 years after you retire. These really are the most crucial years of retirement. Significant portfolio losses become extremely hard to recover from if you're forced to sell assets that declined in price just to live on. They don't get the opportunity to recover. I'm often in favor of a more conservative approach in the early years of retirement when spending needs are higher. Then, as spending declines and you leave the retirement red zone, you can invest with higher growth targets. What does this mean for you? Well, every situation is different and needs are different. Research consistently shows that 90% of investment success stems not from selecting individual investments, but from proper asset allocation. Your distribution across stocks, bonds, and other investment vehicles. Market volatility, that's inevitable. We know things go up and down. And with historical drops, like the S&P 500's 60% decline during the great financial crisis, professional guidance can help prevent emotional decisions during market turbulence that might compromise long-term financial security. Number 4, diffuse your ticking tax time bomb. What's that? We all know our government needs money. We now have a self-created agency called DOGE that is trying to save money for the government by reducing fraud and waste. But I think we also know that politicians see our tax-deferred nest eggs as a nice, juicy ribeye steak just waiting to be gobbled up. So plan your retirement distributions smartly by strategically making withdrawals in low tax brackets. Potentially even more withdrawals than you need if you're in low tax brackets, because they may not be there 5 to 10 years from now. Here are some final thoughts. Waiting until 65 to retire might be normal according to today's society, but if health problems emerge at 66, your retirement experience will be severely compromised. So while this outcome isn't guaranteed for everyone, statistics indicate it's a risk worth addressing in your planning. Be purposeful about your retirement approach. Whether you have 500, 1,000, or 2,000 healthy weeks ahead, the objective remains consistent. Spend that time meaningfully, engaged in activities that you value with people that you cherish. The reality is clear. Waiting until 65 to retire may not give you the retirement that you envision. If the average American's healthy life expectancy is only about 10 years from a retirement at age 65, that means many people only get a decade of active retirement before major health issues set in, and many more people not even that. That's not what retirement should be. The good news, you have the power to change this outcome. By prioritizing your health and making smart financial choices and planning for an earlier retirement, you can ensure that you have the time, the energy, and the freedom to enjoy the life you've worked so hard for. If this video helped you think differently about retirement, can you do me a favor? Hit that like button so that more people can see this important information. And if you want more strategies to retire earlier, healthier, and wealthier, make sure to subscribe. And if you own a business, you can get started working with me by visiting celestialwm.com and clicking the Start Here tab. And while you're there, don't forget to head to the Resources tab and download my 7-step guide to building your financial path. It's packed with strategies to set you up for success. Be sure to check out this video next for even more ways to supercharge your net worth.